Trustee Riley is MIA.
Okay, okay. Would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
And to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for residents to comment briefly on matters included on the agenda and otherwise of interest to the Board of Trustees. Public comment is limited to 30 minutes in total and up to 5 minutes per speaker. We'll take public comments first from the sign-in sheet list in the order in which folks signed in. When you step to the podium, please speak clearly into the microphone, identify yourself with your name and address for the record, and please direct your comments to the board. Michael?
Mr. Mayor, there are no sign-ins.
Thank you. We'll give the audience one more chance to public comment if they want. Anybody want to get up? Not seeing anybody making a move. So then we will close public comments and move on to the president's report. I don't have anything tonight, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. The titles on the consent agenda will be read by the clerk and approved by a single roll call vote. Any item may be pulled from the consent agenda for discussion or a separate vote by any member of the board. Clerk Johnson, would you please read the titles?
6A, approval of minutes from the Village Board meeting of July 7th, 2025. 6B, approval of executive session minutes from the Village Board meeting of April 21st, 2025. 6C, approval of a semi-monthly warrant registered dated July 21st, 2025, totaling $451,138.14. 6D, memorandum of understanding between the Joint Emergency Telephone System Board of Lake County and the Village of Lake Zurich. 6E, ordinance approving a special use permit for Salvation Army thrift store located at 795 West Illinois Route 22, assigned ordinance 2025-07-619. 6F, ordinance approving a map amendment and special use permit for Valvoline Instant Oil Change located at 909 South Rand Road, assigned ordinance 2025-07-620. 6G, agreement with Amerider Construction for the Village Hall exterior improvements in the amount not to exceed $355,400. 6H, ordinance amending Title III of Chapter 3 of the Village of Lake Zurich Municipal Code to increase authorized Class V video gaming license for Roundy's Illinois LLC, located at 1350 East Route 22.
Okay. Thank you. Any board questions or discussion desired on any of the items, or would anyone like to have any item pulled for a separate vote? Anybody?
I got a question about the salvation.
I'm gonna, one second,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe I'll cover that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna ask to just temporarily pull 6E, 6F, and 6H for discussion. Is that where you were at? Okay. Okay, so starting with 6E is the ordinance approving a special use permit for the Salvation Army thrift store located at 795 West Illinois Route 22. My discussion point would be, and Jason Sapphire, who is the landlord, property owner, is here.
Correct.
Jason, there's been some concern about the front of the store being a drop-off point like Goodwill has, where people just, even if it's not open, they just dump their stuff off there, and they leave it there, and it takes a few days for that to come down. That's not really going to be appreciated by the community, and do you have a
Sure.
response to that?
Sure. Yeah, this is on. Mayor, board, hello everyone, staff, good to see you all. Yeah, that's correct, Mayor. That is not Salvation Army's business model. Their business model is actually where you call and they come pick up the stuff at your home, and then they take it to a distribution center where they go ahead and process it all, and then they bring it in on box trucks and deliver it to the back of the store for stocking. So it's a typical retail operation. They do not receive donations there. Is there a chance that we could get donations? Sure, but there will be signs that say, any donations, please bring to the back, and there will be a bin, almost like one of those metal things you see out in a parking lot that you can open,
Right.
slide the door in. So it's not going to be a bunch of odds and ends all over the property. Plus, the Goodwill doesn't sit out there for days because I drive the property every day. If there are donations by the time it's open, if they're not collected, we send our maintenance people in to tell them to please move the things inside. So that's the whole reason we put the donation drop-off lane in there. And then when we did House of Hope, we put the donation drop-off lane there as well so that people could do donations and people would actually come collect them, so they just weren't dropping them off randomly throughout the day.
Well,
So
and-
I hope that answers the question.
And just so, I drove the property the other day, and even if you come around the back, there's no residential back there anyway, so the drop-off point is business to business in the back, all the way in an easy circulation back around and out.
Correct, yeah, it backs up directly to I forget the name of the furniture store that's back there now.
Acosta.
Acosta's, yes, obviously. So, yeah, it backs up right to their building. They don't even have a view of it because they have no windows in their back of their building. So
Correct.
it would be very concealed if there were things dropped off in the back, and we'll make sure there's signs in the front that says donation, drop off in the back, because they will receive donations while they're open from staff in the back of the building.
Okay. Okay, anybody else on that one?
No, that was going to be my question. Thanks for answering that. How fast are you looking to turn this around?
Well, the way Salvation Army works, I did say that's at planning and zoning. The reason we're pursuing this lease is because I did a ton of research. They have never defaulted on a lease in all of their history. So that's really important. They've never defaulted on a lease. So as a landlord, we want people in our shopping center that are going to be there a while. So the way they work is they won't go ahead and execute the full commencement letter of the lease until they have a special use permit in place. So they were going to go ahead and come before all of you, and I said, you know what, let me handle it. I know the process, I have a relationship, and I think I can fast track this for a simple special use permit. So the goal would be is that we get the special use tonight. We would submit for building permit in the next week or two because we're going to put a ramp for loading and unloading in the back, and then we're going to go ahead and put a few dressing rooms in the interior. So my hope would be in the next 30 to 60 days, we could be, probably more like 60 would be realistic for them to be open.
Got it. And the last question, you said the drop-off of the semi. So are you talking on the back side of that, a semi would unload?
There is no semis. They don't use semis. They have their own box trucks, no bigger than 24 feet, that they go ahead and drop off with in the rear. But if it was a semi, that would work as all because that's what Party City used for years at that location.
Cool.
Yeah, Party City was there for over 12 years.
All I got. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You good? Anybody else? Nope. Okay, so the next item would have been item 6F, an ordinance approving a map amendment and special use permit for Valvoline Instant Oil Change located at 909 South Old Rand Road. My question is what is the level of screening on the back of the building? Because there are residents, I think maybe one residence back there, maybe two. And I'm interested in, keeping that, the traffic flow is gonna come around the back of the building and then come forward.
That's correct.
So then there'll be traffic stacked up or queued up in the back at some level.
Yeah, there'll be
I
cars.
don't see it anyplace else, that's why.
Yeah, there'll be 2 to 3 cars queued up in the back to go into the 3-bay building.
Maybe.
Maybe. And if Eddie was here at the PZC, and I think Sarosh was here as the staff, Stan Latos was here. He couldn't be here tonight, but he's the director of real estate for Ivy Lane, who is the company that's going to be occupying that location. And he had said that they basically do 40 cars a day from the hours of, I believe it was 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 40 cars. And what he had said, no cars there longer than 15 minutes. So that long, there's not going to be cars stacked up. He said there might be one car waiting at a time. But as far as, more importantly, Mayor, is because the building's pushed really far forward. That was the benefit of putting a 1,700 square foot building in instead of a 3,700 square foot building, which I was here for a year ago for the dispensary. The building is not, the front building line is still the same, but obviously the building's a lot shallower. So now we're farther away from the residents. And we submitted a landscape plan already, which was all green, like as you all like to say, when staff greens out everything, that's a good thing. So everything was green, but we tried to put a heavy opacity, larger, denser opacity on the back of the property with evergreen type trees, so they're never losing their leaves. So the screening will remain year round. And we did say in the planning and zoning, which I think it was a condition, that there would be a 6-foot fence installed instead of the 5-foot that's existing. And we've already agreed to do that. So I think between those two things and then working with the LED lighting, which is such an easy process these days, to go ahead and put baffles in the lights and have all of the lighting forward and a 6-foot fence with a 15-foot pole. And then the trees growing, I'm not sure that you'll ever see any light either. So I'm really confident that it's going to be a good use for the property based upon kind of the low density building size and use for that small of a property.
And Hawkeye had storage back there before, correct?
Yeah, correct. And there'll be no overnight storage of vehicles, which Hawkeye for 40+ years had vehicles all night there. They had a shed literally right in the back, which was right next to the building, and they had garage doors on each end. So their building was about 40 feet deeper into the site. Right. So they were driving right next to the houses where we're going to be pushing everything forward with temporary automobile use, not pulling engines out, doing transmissions where Hawkeye would have cars there weeks on end.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. Thank you. Anybody?
I just have one question
Yep.
about the
Mark?
location of the trash in the back corner. Just when we get that contract in place for the for Valvoline, that's not coming too early in the morning, because those trucks can be pretty loud
For
and
sure.
pretty noisy, so that people aren't being woken up at 6 a.m. by trucks picking up trash.
100%. We'll have the same contract with with Flood Brothers, and our deal is that nobody comes before 8 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
And they usually start where there isn't much residential traffic and work through all of our properties. So that's a good point. And we'll make
Appreciate
sure.
it.
And we did, per the site plan, one of the residents recommended moving the trash enclosure from where it currently is located. And we said we would work on doing that, to moving it so that it would be closer to the at my existing shopping center.
Yeah.
Not closer to the residents.
The other corner.
So
Okay.
yeah, we'll put it on the other corner.
Thank you.
For sure.
And maybe, I watched the PZC meeting, the safety protocol of the oil. Was it triple lined basin or something?
One of the residents had made a comment that they wanted it to be double walled with a vacuum air space. He thought that they were underground tanks. They are not. It's above ground oil storage in the basement of the building. So they still will be double walled tanked with an air gap, but they're not in the ground, so there'd be no chance of any soil contamination.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Anybody else? No? Okay, and then, thank you, Mr. Sapphire. Appreciate that. And the last item was item 6H, the ordinance amending Title III of Chapter 3 of the Village of Lake Zurich Municipal Code to increase authorized Class V video gaming license for Roundy's Illinois LLC, located at 1350 Main, East Route 22. That is the Mariano's store. Just a point of information. This is the first store in Lake Zurich that's requested video gaming. Correct? Anybody?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. It's allowed in our code to have video gaming in a grocery store.
So this particular grocery store also provides for a restaurant setting. The store has a Class A license for the restaurant space. They have a retail license as well for selling packaged liquor, and they also have an annual tasting license that they've had with us ever since the store opened. In order for them to qualify for the Class V license, it requires bar service. It requires a draft beer system, and from the conversations I've had with them, they are going to be in full compliance with that. They also have very strict regulatory oversight as far as how people are served alcohol and those types of things to make sure that it doesn't turn itself into something that wouldn't be representative of Kroger or Mariano's. I actually have two gentlemen here this evening. In anticipation of your questions, I have Mr. Daniel Kelleher, and I'm probably butchering that, am I not? Oh, that's perfect. Okay, he's from the Kroger Company. And then also, we have Mr. Scott DeMonk, and he is with Mariano's Operations. And I have asked them to be here this evening just in case you had any questions that I was unable to answer. They can certainly give you a little bit of insight as to what the strategy is for these types of operations, as far as diversifying cash flow within a store to have people come in and have multiple services appealing to the varying and diversified audiences. You know, we have a sushi station in ours, and some of them have barbecue, some of them have, you know, it's just one of those things, and that they're also looking at. But you don't have to hear it from me. If you don't mind, I'd be happy to have Dan come up to the microphone.
That would be great. We've also, that store's also evolved since we first opened it up into a gas station as well. So as an additional revenue source, so.
Yeah, does this work?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Dan Keller. I'm the Senior Category Manager for Sports Betting and Entertainment with the Kroger Company. So I work out of GO, out of General Office. I don't live in Cincinnati, but that's the group that I report to. I'm actually from Denver, so.
Mayor, I have a question.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm a little newer, so this might have already been discussed, but a grocery store, by nature, it caters to all ages. So this gaming area, and because alcohol is also involved, will this be physically separated and designated?
Yes, it actually will, and that's by the regulation of the Illinois Gaming Board. So it will be a self-contained area. It is required to have line of sight from our customer service area. So we will maintain line of sight. In addition to that, it will be an age-gated area. So it will require. So basically, the process will be the customer will go to the customer service. They'll get their ID verified. They'll be given an RFID, so a radio frequency identification card. That will provide them access into the area where the gaming is conducted. That would also get them a certain designated, if they so chose, they could have one beverage or 8 ounces of beverage every 4 hours, let's say, or every 8-hour period, whatever. So it is controlled, so sort of a kegerator system that we have. It controls the volume of alcohol, the type of alcohol, and the quantity of alcohol that any customer would be able to be served, but completely age-gated, completely controlled with an RFID access point.
All right, great. That was my question. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
I do.
Mark?
Yeah.
Mark and Greg. Mark, then Greg.
You want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, how many of these do you have operating currently in the country?
Well, so we currently have 64 locations in the state of Georgia. We have 6 locations in the state of Nebraska, 45 locations in the state of Nevada, 3 locations on the verge of being rolled out before the end of August in the state of Wyoming, and other jurisdictions that we're actively looking at currently. So again, some of those I can't disclose, but there are other states in addition to Illinois and those that I've already mentioned.
So Illinois doesn't have any currently established establishments like this yet?
Not yet. We do have a number of other locations that we're also looking at. Lake Zurich, just in the process, just ended up being the one that came up first, but we do have additional Illinois locations that we're considering.
Okay. I'm just having a hard time wrapping my mind around a grocery store with all of these other amenities added in, because I don't think of going to the grocery store to go play video poker. It's just not in my mindset, or to go sit down and have a cocktail or something like that, or drink alcohol. To me, they've always been mutually exclusive types of environments: a bar gaming establishment, grocery store. Now we're starting to really blur some lines and blur some things, and I appreciate the question about age separation and things like that. And I'm trying to envision the way the layout is in there from where the customer service department is and where the food serving area is. Where exactly is this going to be so that it has line of sight? Because it sounds like it won't have any real human oversight of anyone in the space as it's operating.
Yeah, so actually, according to the IGB rules, the Illinois Gaming Board rules, we do need to maintain line of sight. So that is a piece. So as we apply, so we get this piece, if we're successful in this conversation this evening, then we apply to the Illinois Gaming Board. That's about a 6-month process to go through that application process. They will come out and take a look at the facility. They'll look at where we've designated or where we desire to put this activity, and they will make sure that there's full and active line of sight throughout the day of this space. So
in this location, sorry to, pardon my interruption, in this location, and maybe you could answer this question better because you're the Mariano's guy at this point, right? That service desk is directly across from the cashiers right now, right? And the food service, if I'm facing the service desk, is all the way in the left in the corner past those doors over there, which is pretty far. Because you've got produce in there, you've got a bunch of obstacles in the way. Where are you planning on actually having this space, in that space, to be able to have that line of sight and be able, and not interrupt the flow of the rest of the grocery shopping experience?
No, it's a great question. So that's actually our secondary preference. Our primary preference is to the left of the SCO of the self-checkout area. So as you would have the customer service area to your back, it would be to the left. It's kind of a dead merchandising area. Right now, if you went into the store, you'd see water pallets and just some miscellaneous. It's really just underutilized space within the store. So that's kind of our primary location currently. The secondary would be over in the Starbucks area, over in the atrium itself.
Okay. All right, that helps me visualize. So it's a completely separate area. So we're banking on the fact that we have a restaurant-like experience. However, the restaurant-like experience is not even in the space where the gaming area would be.
Well, true. To have it be self-contained in the fashion that we desire, to have it be age-gated appropriately, that would be our primary location.
We're relying on the synergy of all these different things to get to have A, you're allowed to have B, right? And then C. But yet, we're not bringing them together under the same area of the store. They're gonna be spread out in different spaces. We're gonna have alcohol served in the gaming space, but we'll also have alcohol served somewhere else in the location, or no?
No, that would be the only area. And the one other comment, if I could just make a comment overall as far as having this activity in a grocery store. So it's makes the news. It's made the news for the last year or two about grocery inflation and these different things. And so when we look at the marketplace, there are competitors, not necessarily in Lake Zurich, but competitors of ours in other parts of the state of Illinois that are doing this activity. They're grocers, they're doing this activity. And so from a competitive standpoint, it does require us to say, how do we capture that customer relationship in the different ways that our competitors are? And so being able to capture those additional revenue streams are what allow us to make sure that we're providing quality food, low prices, reinvestment in associate wages, quality of work environment, all those things that our competitors are doing. And if the competitors are the only ones allowed to capture those revenue opportunities, then we're at a distinct disadvantage in the services that we provide to the community. So it is starting to happen in other markets across the country. The fact that there isn't a direct competitor in Lake Zurich doing it doesn't mean that we don't feel that competitive pressure across the state.
That's a lot.
If I may, you mentioned that bars and things like that are not part of Mariano's. There are existing stores in the Chicagoland area that have had bars. There's one in Des Plaines, there's one in Ravenswood, and I believe there's one in Park Ridge that offers bar service and has since the stores have been opened. And
A Mariano's or just
Mariano's.
Mariano's?
Yeah,
Okay.
specifically Mariano's. And if you look at their grocery carts, they actually have an area for if you're getting a pint of beer or something like that, where you can position that on the grocery cart and then do your shopping and then, bring the glass back. So it's all part of the experience of maybe potentially not having, not wanting to sound sexist, but maybe the person that doesn't do the majority of the shopping, getting them to go, hey, go get this at the grocery store, and it's like, oh, I don't mind, I'll have a beer while I'm, picking up X, Y, and Z. So it's
So I can go to the grocery store and buy my groceries swerving up and down the aisles with alcohol, but I can't ride my bike on the street in front of my house, right, Chief? And do the same? Just clarifying.
Yeah.
And don't get me going on scooters.
Don't.
No. All right. My mind is still wrapping around this, but I'm gonna let
It's not
Trustee
hard.
Whiter move on.
It's not complicated. They're gonna have us, I was initially thinking that you were gonna be moving that whole process where the Starbucks area is in that store. And that almost would be a perfect spot, because it's already set up.
Right.
Except that the customer service area, as you described it, is way far away from that. But, don't forget, they got a big, huge liquor section in that store with a big, huge walk-in beer cooler, so. I can see somebody walking around with a little glass of wine and, to go shopping. I sometimes wish I had that when I'm in the store, so,
You do you.
yeah, you too. Not anymore, but you, yeah,
Okay.
so.
Thank you
No,
for
you're welcome.
indulging my insanity.
No, you're all good. I appreciate the question.
Whiter
You-
was next.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Greg. Greg.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Actually, I had the same question as Mark, but as you were speaking, and I'm sure it's in the packet, and I'm sure I missed it, but what's the total square footage of this space, the alcohol gaming space?
It would be about 180 square feet.
So it's pretty small.
It is generally pretty small.
All right, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, Jake? Jake Marks.
So for the markets you mentioned, I'm obviously not steeped in the state laws of those states, but do they have similar setups as Illinois where they have boutique gambling fronts like we do here, like Annie's and upcoming playoffs where mom and pops can open gambling stations, or are they exclusive?
Yes, for the most part, each of those jurisdictions has some level of gaming similar to what you have here.
Okay. And Michael, do you have like a number on the number of gambling establishments we have in the village?
I want to say it's 16.
16. Okay.
So, and I want to just back up on that, though. When it comes to, you write the ordinance and then you forget what the number is.
No worries.
Okay, so we have 16 right now. And out of those, we have 4 or 5 gaming cafes.
Okay.
The rest of them are restaurants. We have, there's a number of them that have gaming as an option.
Okay.
But we have a few that are the Dottie's and Lacey's and what used to be Beerability and that kind of stuff. But those establishments have been capped. So now the requirement really is quite steep to get into that market, as far as some of the restrictions that prior boards have put into place.
And I was a part of those, and my struggle here is that 8 years ago, we had a gasoline station car wash across the street that proposed that we voted no for, that wanted to have gaming in the gas station car wash, Ricky Rocket. Remember? Right across the street from this location. And I was a no vote on that one because of the location and how we were trying to get a handle on our gaming licenses and things like that. And he was looking for a way to backdoor it because of the square footage that he was putting in and things like that. And I feel like, and I'm not saying you're trying to do a backdoor deal on anybody, I just feel like that we're commingling things now where we had said no, we weren't. And again, it was a different makeup of the board at the time. But just to provide a little bit of history, we were trying to slow the growth of gaming in the community at the time because it was just everybody was applying and trying to get in right away when they could. And we needed to take that pause and that hiatus before we went back into it. And right at that same, again, right across the street, because he was talking about his glass facade and how it was going to match Mariano's across the street. And Sarosh, I know you remember this. And we said no because of the proliferation of gaming around our community. So I just want to make sure I bring that piece back up because that's what's sticking with me on this corner right now in this issue.
And we can still say no, but
I get that.
you have to remember that corner was initially, I believe it was initially proposed to be a truck stop with a certain amount of acreage that would have allowed them to have
Right.
gaming on that corner anyway.
Right.
this is ancillary and another revenue source for an industry that is a tough go. I don't even know why Kroger's in the business sometimes with all the things. And anyway,
I get it. Thank you, I'm done. I'll shut up.
and one of the things that I'm concerned about is we've got a lot of grocery stores in Lake Zurich. Mariano's just closed 3 stores. With the Kroger-Albertson merger, that thing went south, and they just throw that. I don't know how well that store's doing compared to the ones that were closed, but I'd like to keep that store open. That's a great spot for it. So,
Mayor,
anybody other questions? Roger?
Sorry, I got 2. So the monitoring of selling of alcohol, you said, right, they go to the customer service. Who monitors, like, consumption of over-serving, I guess?
Yeah, so it's actually built into the design of the system. So you basically, the customer would get their RFID card. That RFID card then would have a designation of they get 16 ounces, so 2 8-ounce pours over a 4-hour period, or they get a quantity of 2 12-ounce pours over an 8-hour period. So it's all designed within the confines of the system itself, controls that. Obviously, we're monitoring it as well with that line of sight requirement with the IGB, but the system itself restricts them from getting any more than what's defined by the system.
They have to get some certification, right? I worked in the bar business for a while. You have to be certified. Those individuals can be certified?
Yes, they will. That's a requirement of the IGB as well. The Illinois Gaming Board doesn't require those individuals to be Bassett certified. I think that the liquor licenses require the Bassett certification as
Yeah,
well.
and the reason I ask is I've been a bartender. You may only have 8 or 16 ounces, but what about the guy that had 10 beers before and coming, you know what I mean?
No, exactly right.
Okay.
Yep, exactly right.
Second part, so it sounds like there's many, many locations. From all the other locations, what have you seen? I get the money part of it, but the negative side of it, has there been any major issues, concerns, or anything come out of it from all those other locations that you've seen?
We really haven't. I mean, obviously there are different communities that you go in. Sometimes there's somebody within the community that may have a comment or two. Generally, it ends up being a very successful addition to the store. Again, people see it as a nice alternative to some of the other options that might be available in the marketplace. We are highly compliant, given our stature and the visibility of our brand across the country. We take compliance very seriously. So above and beyond what the IGB requires, we have our own house rules just to make sure that again, we're really delivering a quality experience, safe, convenient, just highly regulated, highly compliant environment.
Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. I'm good with my stuff too, so.
Yep, thank you.
Okay then.
I'd like to pull that one for a separate vote.
You would?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
then
you.
We will take item 6H and add it to new business. Okay? Everybody okay with that? Okay, then I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, except for item 6H, which has been added to new business for a separate vote. I need a second.
Second, Marks.
Mark and Kathleen, please call the roll.
Trustee Baradwaj?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Spicone?
Aye.
Trustee Shagru?
Aye.
Trustee Wider?
Aye.
Okay, the consent agenda passes, and we'll move on now to new business. And we'll take that item up first, so I'm going to read I'll read the summary. 6H is new business. 6H, ordinance amending Title III of Chapter 3 of the Village of Lake Zurich Municipal Code to increase authorized Class V video gaming license for Roundy's Illinois LLC located at 1350 East Route 22. In the summary, Roundy's Illinois LLC, operating as Mariano's, has requested a Class V video gaming license for hosting video gaming terminals inside the grocery store. The company is in the process of expanding in-store offerings to encompass a bar service and video gaming. Staff requests consideration and approval of the proposed ordinance to issue a Class V video gaming license to Roundy's Illinois DBA Mariano's number 514. Okay, going back to this item, are there any comments or from the board?
You know, can I ask a couple of additional questions?
Certainly can.
So maybe for staff. So when we look at this new business model, and I understand the motivation of Mariano's to diversify their revenue streams. Here in the village, we have, originally, at least my thought process was when we approved video gaming, it was for bars and restaurants, so they had an opportunity to be competitive. If our neighboring communities had video gaming, maybe folks were going to Wakanda or somewhere else instead of being in Lake Zurich, so they needed to be competitive. And I understood that. Then we kind of had this proliferation of what we call the cafes, which just, from my perspective, kind of, I don't want to say took advantage, but saw an opportunity that maybe wasn't in the spirit of the initial intent to create a business model. And we have a number of those. And then the board has made some steps to say, okay, they exist, but we don't want to see more than X, Y, and Z. So this is a new business venture, one that's, so if I have it, it's Georgia, Nevada, Wyoming. I missed the fourth one. Nebraska, okay. So, as I write these down, I'm like, well, those are all kind of different communities or different states than ours, but I understand what Mariano's is trying to achieve. I shop at Mariano's. I enjoy having Mariano's in town. To be very honest, I don't know that I enjoy this particular concept, and I'm not against having a beer. I don't know that I would do it while I'm shopping, but that's everybody should have the opportunity to make their own choices for themselves, so I get that. So my question is, not being an enormous fan of the gaming cafe concept, how would your concept be, and I guess it's not one or the other, it's kind of in the middle, but how is this going to be different than that? And I get a sense a little bit. I mean, I understand the cards. I'm assuming it's self-serve, right? You take the card, you swipe the card, you pick what you want. You either stay in and participate in the video gaming, or you go and do your shopping or do whatever. How would you differentiate your business model from the cafe model, I guess is my question.
Yeah, I mean, I just think by its nature, it just is different. There are some people just don't want to go and hang out at a cafe, right? They like the activity, but they don't want to go to the bar. They don't want to go to the cafe. But it's an activity that, hey, I'll go with my spouse. I'll go with my significant other. I'll kind of be there to sort of go to and from. And this is an activity that I can sit and do kind of while they do the shopping, et cetera. So it's sort of a complement to the other activities that we do in the store.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yep.
That's all I have. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody else? Want another opportunity to sell this?
No, I don't want another opportunity to sell it per se. I mean, I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk with you folks. I mean, this is an important community for us. I used to live in Wisconsin, so I'm very familiar with Lake Zurich. This is a beautiful area. So I would just say, I mean, again, we want to remain competitive to others who are doing this activity in the marketplace. We do need to take advantage of additional revenue streams where they become available to just remain competitive. It's a difficult marketplace, as you highlighted. People expect home delivery. They expect a number of different things in the marketplace than what we had 5 or 10 years ago. The investment of those things is very capital intensive. And so just being able to take advantage of legal revenue streams available within the marketplace is an important piece of our business model.
So I guess then, if you already have some of these in place, what's your experience been with them as far as the number of people who are in there at any one point in time? I guess I'm not against it. I'm just wondering who's going to be in there and how long are they going to be in there? Because I mean, even if you're shopping with your significant other, Who the hell wants to stay in there any longer than you have to?
Well, so a couple of things that I'll point out. So in the state of Illinois, you're limited to 6 machines. So there's only so much of this activity that you can really support regardless, because there's only so much activity. I mean, there's only 6 machines at most that you can have in the space. The other part of it, when you look kind of across the country, one of the things that I think we're always sort of surprised by is Monday might be a really busy day, and you go, who's going in there on Monday to game or whatever? But in that community, there's some dynamic. That's when people enjoy engaging in the activity. In another community, it might be a Thursday. So we're always sort of surprised when we look sort of community by community across the country when people do go in and play, because it's not always when you think, and it's not always the customer type that you think is coming in there to play either.
Are you getting any, so there's people who come in just to play in a grocery store?
I would say
Your hope would be that they're buying some groceries too.
well, it's sort of, you find a little bit of a mix, right? So in Nevada, most of our customers are locals, so they don't like to go to the Strip. They like the gaming activity, so they aren't necessarily shoppers. Some of them certainly are shoppers in Nevada, but some of them, it's locals. It's sort of their neighborhood place that they can go and play, see their friends, see their neighbors, see some of their friends and things that way. In the state of Georgia, we really have found that in talking to the vendors that we work with, it's net new customers. We're not drawing customers away from competitive locations, and people who were like, hey, there's a safe, clean environment. I can do this. I can have a little fun. It can be sort of some social entertainment, and it doesn't mean I have to go and camp out at the convenience store or the bar restaurant or whatever. It's just something I can do sort of in a light touch approach, and I can just go and do it in the store, and it's not new customers that we're attracting into the entertainment space.
Okay. Anybody else?
Question for staff maybe. And how much has Mariano's contributed to any philanthropic or public events that we've had here in town? Have they given any donations, any supports of any site? Because we're looking at expanding revenue streams, and we're talking about revenue streams for a company that happens to have a very prominent place in our community and who does a lot of philanthropic work around the area, in its business model. But how much has come back to our village in terms of anything that they've done to provide any support for things that we have going on here? Or is it just a take?
No, Mariano's definitely has helped in the community. I know that there have been some water opportunities that have taken place. I know in recent past they were part of Rock the Block and handing out water at no charge and those types of things. So it's not been a take situation for the community.
Because whenever we have events, I never see Mariano's name advertised in any of our events that we've got going on.
We've had Chick-fil-A, and I'm not sure whether or not anybody even realized that they were there. We've had a number of different locations that have come forward. I'd want to have a further conversation with our Park and Rec group. They're more in touch with those types of activities that may draw in Mariano's, but we'll certainly keep that in mind going forward.
I'm going to interrupt. I think Chief Steve Husak has had experience with Mariano's and events in the community. Chief?
Yeah, they've been a great partner with Coffee with a Cop that we've done every couple of years. It's a really great location because it also helps us spin into Hawthorne Woods and Killdeer. We do a partnership, but they've been a very welcoming facility for us to have that activity, which we're going to look at possibly this fall again. But yeah, they've been a really great partner in that.
And you can educate them on gaming and alcohol at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Everybody else? Nope. Okay, then I would like, I'll make the motion to approve an ordinance amending Title III of Chapter 3 of the Village of Lake Zurich Municipal Code to increase authorized Class V video gaming license for Roundy's Illinois LLC, located at 1350 East Route 22. And I need a second, please.
Second, Whiter.
Would you please call the roll, Kathleen?
Trustee Marks?
No.
Trustee Spicone?
No.
Trustee Shagru?
No.
Trustee Wider?
Yes.
Trustee Barajwa.
Yes.
Okay, so that motion fails. I believe that we have 4
three.
noes and 1 yes. Two
Three
yeses.
noes.
So, motion fails. So, that means you can't do that today. Okay? Correct? Okay. Okay. That's the end of the consent agenda, and we'll move on to new business. We have a presentation by Baker Tilly of our annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year 2024. Rita or Amy, who's going to do this one? Who's chatting? Who's talking?
Actually, we're going to have Joe from Baker Tilly go through our 2024 audit with you guys.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me tonight. And thank Amy and Rita and the business office staff for all their help during the fiscal year 24 audit. It was a good process. We worked collaboratively with the business office to complete the audit. It's quite a bit of a large undertaking, but we're here in front of you in July as a result of the hard work that was done to get the financial statements prepared and presented for you. We'll be going over 2 reports tonight at a very high level. The first one is the annual comprehensive financial report, just a couple 200-page document on the village's financial statements, their financial results for the year. And the second is the audit results letter, which is our non-financial highlights of the audit. So I'll start with the annual comprehensive financial report. And as the name suggests, it's a comprehensive document. It's actually more information than is required by accounting standards. It presents some additional information, additional transparency for the users of the financial statements to give them a better understanding of not just this year's financial results, but also trend information over the last 10 years or so in certain parts. We once again issued a clean or unmodified opinion on the village's financial statements. It's the highest level of assurance you can get from your outside auditors. It states the information within is reasonable in all material respects and can be reasonably relied upon by an outside user of the financial statements. So exactly the opinion you want on your financial statements. There were no new accounting standards adopted during the year, so really if you looked at this year's report compared to last year's, the form and function would look very similar, while of course the financial results have changed. I'm not going to go over the financial amounts in detail unless there are any questions from the board. But I always like to point out the management's discussion and analysis, which follows our opinion. This is management's story behind the numbers. It gives a great analysis of what happened during the year, comparison to the prior year for the various funds of the village, but also the village as a whole. So if you're really looking to understand the financial results and what happened with comparison to prior year, this is where I would spend your time. The rest of the report goes into a lot of great detail into those numbers, and it's really good to understanding some details that if you want to further understand, but really the MD&A is really a good kind of summary of the results. The other smaller document is our audit results letter. As I mentioned, it's the non-financial highlights of our audit. It provides you information with our responsibilities for the audit, management's responsibilities, significant estimates, significant transaction cycles, what we think is important for our audit plan. This is very much a boilerplate letter, which is exactly what you want to see. There's nothing of concern noted in the report, but it does give you a lot of good information on the audit process. Additionally, during the audit, we look at internal controls of the village, not to provide an opinion on internal controls, but we use the results of those tests to determine the timing, nature, and extent of our audit procedures. If we were to find something that we feel the board should know about, or could potentially materially misstate the financial statements because there's a weakness, we would put that in this letter. And once again, I'm happy to report that there are no internal control comments in the report. So as I mentioned, very much a boilerplate letter. Additionally, on page 2, it has my contact information should you need anything throughout the year. We work with management to complete the audit, but we ultimately work for the board. So we're definitely open for any questions throughout the year. Should you have any questions, concerns, audit process, accounting policies, any of those good, fascinating, interesting things. And And also on the last couple of pages, there's, we look forward out until the next audit, right? So if there's anything you have concern over that part for next year, again, that's also part of this letter for you to look at and see if there's any things that pique your interest. With that, I will open it up to any questions or comments on the audit financial statements or the audit results letter.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Rita or Amy, anything that you guys want to add to this? Looks like a good report. And I see that there was already an award that we got hanging on the wall in the Village Hall, right? Did we get one for this one? We always do.
We'll submit this one.
Oh, we will? Oh, maybe I should have looked at the date.
Not yet.
Huh?
We'll submit it after this.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Okay. Anybody have any comments on this? No?
No, maybe just a thank you, Amy. I know you've been leading the charge of this for a while. Amy, or Rita, you got some big shoes to fill, obviously, but it sounds like you got a good partner. So thank you for everything, Amy, because I know a lot of it goes to you on this, so thanks.
Okay. Thanks,
Thank you.
Joe.
Have a good rest
Appreciate
of your
it.
night.
And thanks to you guys for doing a great job in keeping us legal and on point and all that good stuff. You're doing a great job. Thank you. I think this is Amy's last meeting with us, right?
Yes, this is my last.
Not your
meeting.
last day, but your last meeting.
Correct.
So I just want to take this time to thank you for the great job that you've done. I know that you you're moving out of town. Sorry to see you go, but we have a great replacement in Rita, so hopefully we don't miss a step. So Amy, thank you for the hard work that you put in, and we appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on then to the end of new business, moving on to trustee reports. Are there any trustee reports or stray board member comments tonight? Anybody? Nope. Village staff reports. Any staff reports tonight?
No, sir.
Nope. Okay, well, that concludes our regular business for tonight. We will be adjourning to executive session called for the purpose of 5 ILCS 120/2C21, review of executive session minutes, 5 ILCS 120/2C5, purchase or lease of real estate, 5 ILCS 120/2C6, setting price for sale, lease of real estate. There will be no voting action or board business discussed after closed session, so the adjournment of closed session will be the final adjournment and the end of the meeting. So, all that being said, yes?
If I may also request a topic of, I believe it's C2 for discussion of personnel.
So we're gonna add,
Specific employment of employees.
Thank you. I couldn't remember the exact wording, so.
we're gonna add that to closed session then,
Thank you.
okay? What is it?
C2, which is the review, compensation, et cetera, of specific personnel.
Okay. We'll get to all the other numbers too, so. Yeah. Okay, so then can I have a motion and a second to adjourn tonight's regular meeting to executive session? Motion, please.
So moved, Wider.
Greg, and a second.
Second, Shagru.
Roger, and please call the roll, Kathleen.
Trustee Spicone?
Aye.
Trustee Sugru?
Aye.
Trustee Wider?
Aye.
Trustee Barajwa?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
carries.
We are adjourned to executive session. Our next meeting is Monday, August 4th. Thanks for watching. Stay